Okay, anytime you have a question that has a graph, the first thing you want to do is dump on the graph and look at the graph before you even read the question. This is a graph that has distance in kilometers on the y-axis, time in minutes on the x-axis, from point the 0, the start, to the first marked point. It took 20 minutes and the distance was 1.5 kilometers. We know that because that spot is about halfway between 1 and 2. And then the second leg of the trip, obviously something changed about the motion of this object. It took 40 minutes on the second leg of this trip, and it traveled the remaining 1.5 kilometers. So we could tell by just the distance and the time, they traveled the same amount of distance in both sections, but the first part of the trip took 20 minutes, and the second part of the trip took 40 minutes, for a total trip time of 60 minutes. So now let's look at the question. Total distance traveled was 3 kilometers. Which of these situations could be represented by this graph? A student walks up 1.5 kilometers to a friend's house in 40 minutes. Well, nope. The first leg of that trip was not 40 minutes, it was 20 minutes. So we can get rid of that question and answer right now. Answer B, a student walks 1.5 kilometers to a friend's house in 20 minutes. Okay, that fits the first section, the first leg. Then 2 students walk another 1.5 kilometers to school in 40 minutes. Okay, that actually matches what we saw. So that looks like a good answer, but let's check the other ones. A student walks 1.5 kilometers to a friend's house in 30 minutes. Nope, it was 20 minutes, not 30 minutes. And finally, D, a student walks 1.5 kilometers to a friend's house in 20 minutes. Okay, that's good. 2 students then walk another 1.5 in 60 minutes. No, that second trip took them 40 minutes for a total trip time of 60 minutes. If that second one, D, had been the answer, the total trip time would have had to have been 80 minutes and not 60. So the best answer is B. Okay, now let's look at a speed time graph. This is different from the distance time graph. This one has speed on the y-axis. We still have time on the x-axis. The speed's unit in this particular graph is meters per second, and the time is in seconds. So let's look and see what's happening here. From O to A, we went from 0 meters per second to 10 meters per second. So it looks like we increased our speed from 0 meters per second to 10 meters per second, and that took us approximately 5 seconds. Because the A is marked halfway between the 4 and the 6 on the x-axis down there. And then from A to B, look, we stayed at 10 meters per second the whole time. So we didn't stop. What we did was we just went a constant speed of 10 meters per second until we hit the 10-second mark. So for about 5 seconds, we were just traveling and cruising at a constant speed. Then at B, we went from 10 meters per second all the way back down to 0 meters per second. So we stopped. Basically, we slowed down and we decreased our speed all the way back to 0, back to a stopping point, and it took us 3 seconds to do that. So that was a pretty quick stop. Went from 10 to 13. And then at C, from C to D, we are at the 0 meters per second mark. So we are not moving. We are stopped. Probably a stoplight or a stop sign, perhaps. And we are stopped for a total of 3 seconds. And then at the D, the beautiful little D right there, we're going to start going again, and we're going to go from 0 meters per second up to 5 meters per second. So we increase our speed once again. However, we don't go quite as fast. We probably saw a cop or something, so we don't want to travel so fast. And then at E, we're going to be cruising at 5 meters per second for the remainder of the graph. How much time did that whole trip take? Well, we started at 0. We stopped at 25, so it took 25 seconds. Okay, now let's look at a sample problem here on a speed time graph. A car travels at a constant speed, constant speed of 15 meters per second for 2 minutes. We know on a speed time graph, we're looking for a flat line if we want constant speed. The car then increases its speed from 15 to 25 meters per second. So it's increasing speed, and we saw on the last graph, an increase in speed is going to be a diagonal line. And then it's going to, again, travel at a constant speed. So we're looking for another flat line there. For 2 more minutes, which of the following graphs represents the motion during this 5-minute period? So if we were to draw what we would expect over here on our notes, next to constant, we would have a flat line, and then increase, we'd have a diagonal line and another flat line. So let's see which one looks like what would fit our graph here. We've got constant, increase, constant again. Okay, that looks like a really good answer. Here on letter G, we're increasing, then constant, and then increasing again. So that's actually just the opposite of what we described up there. So that's definitely not going to be our answer. H, we are actually decreasing. We're starting at a high rate of speed and decreasing. So we never decreased our speed in our story up there. So this one is definitely not our good answer. And then finally here, we do have a constant speed, okay, but at the second leg here, we decrease our speed. Remember that downward angled line means a decrease in speed, and then constant again, but since we increased, F is going to be our best answer. What's the difference between a speed versus time graph and a distance versus time graph? A flat line on a speed graph is a constant speed. It means it's staying constant, it's just cruising. A flat line on a distance versus time graph means it's stopped. That is the biggest difference. No motion. Forward or backward. No motion. All right, and if you know the force and mass, how do we solve for acceleration? We're coming back to physics, back to Newton's second law. We have our handy trusty triangle. The formula that's on the formula chart is force equals mass times acceleration. We always want what is on the right side of the formula to be the same in the triangle, so M has to be next to A, which leaves F on the top. If we are looking for acceleration, let's cover up that acceleration, leaving us with F over M. So A equals F divided by M would be our formula for acceleration.